And to discuss this further, let's bring in House Financial Services Committee member, Texas Congressman Pete Sessions. Congressman, good to see you. Your reaction to this development, does the president have the right to do this? What is the cause? And I understand it's this potential mortgage fraud allegation. Is an allegation like this sufficient to fire someone the way President Trump has at least attempted to do here?
Absolutely. Is fraud against the law? Is that something that would be looked at in a negative way? Yes, it is. But the bottom line is that we will, and I'm encouraging the committee to ask her to come, and we should do a hearing about this. I would certainly love to see the line be drawn about where fraud is, what fraud is bad enough to be removed from being a governor on the Fed board. And if people think that it's not enough information, not a big enough fraud, I'd be shocked. But we need to have an investigation. I am calling for our committee in financial services. French Hill is our chairman, and I'm sure he will be glad to oblige me and have this hearing. She needs a chance to also be heard, and that's important also. If she wants to come and give testimony, that will include the questions at her. Does she understand what fraud is? Does she understand that she violated within a 2-week period of time? Fraud that any other American could be held accountable for too. And elected officials understand these issues. She should too. She served the United States federal government since about 2016. It's a higher standard. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's something that is a valuable asset to have when you have your own property. That's a homestead you cannot claim to.
Of course, and that makes perfect sense. And you mentioned the word accountability. Just to follow up, do you think the accountability here came on the front end before this is proven? I'm not saying she's innocent at all, but this is, at least for now, an allegation.
Well, I think that what happened is she's not addressed the issue that I've seen. She didn't say, not true, not true.
Yeah,
hey,
point.
I'm innocent. And that would have been a test that the president could have understood. And certainly I, as a senior member of financial services, would understand. She is evidently not making that as part of her case.
Well, Congressman, my understanding, too, is for cause under the Federal Reserve Act is undefined. Right, so it's subjective. So to President Trump, this is a for-cause firing. But I also wanted to ask you, your committee oversees the Federal Reserve. What can you tell us about this criminal referral? What has your committee been told?
Well, the committee, as you probably understand, we've been on recess for a month. We're back home. We're working. We're in our districts. I'm in Waco, Texas today. Very pleased to join you. But these are serious matters. But I think that the action that needs to take place is, in fact, being done right now by the administration. And evidently, President Trump has the facts of the case at hand and made a decision. If he is wrong, then we will vet that out in a hearing, and this young woman will be allowed to have her days, not in court, but before the committee that has full jurisdiction. But fraud is fraud, and if we want to get to whether it was a big fraud or a little fraud, I think that that's a line of statute that we'll let the committee members argue. But I think the president's done the right thing.
Yeah,
Congressman, we also see, she's not alone in this, right? You've got the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, also facing allegations of potential mortgage fraud. Senator Adam Schiff as well. Why does this keep happening? Why do so many politicians or people in a public office believe they're above the law?
Well, let me just say this. You mentioned 3 people. I don't know that so many people.
Three's kind of a lot for mortgage fraud in the past couple of months.
Well, Lisa, that is what this is. It is fraud. But go back, way back when President Clinton nominated Judge Kimball Woods, she did not pay her babysitter, her house sitter. She was illegal. She did not make agreements to pay the Social Security tax. This is still about fraud. It is avoiding paying someone for what the regular law-abiding citizen would do. We have to have laws whereby we have people follow them. And when you are on the Fed board, when you're a Fed governor and you sit on a board that makes these sorts of decisions all across the federal jurisdiction, and you in fact have just created a fraud scheme yourself, which is what she did. She just didn't think she'd be caught. It's wrong. And so I think the president rightfully has done this. She's trying to say that it has something to do with her vote and the integrity of the, or at least the independence of the Fed. That's not what it is. It's about their integrity. And I'd love to see any other board member that would like to defend this, because if they're going to defend this, they ought to do it now publicly, and we'll figure them out also. But fraud is fraud.
We'll see if they do.
Yeah, and if they have evidence that she's innocent, that'd be interesting. I have not really heard that in her defense, to your point so far, which might be telling. Congressman Pete Sessions of Texas, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. Thanks.